Hello and welcome everyone to another Misfits Racing League broadcast. This time it is the Americas division around Albert Park, Australia for their first round of MRL Season 4. My name is Mikcow and I will be taking you through the action this evening. So let's have a quick look at the circuit before we get all of the drivers in and ready to go. So my backyard here, of course, Albert Park, Australia. Many of you hopefully have seen the Tier 3 race that was on just a few hours ago. 16 turns, 3 DRS zones, a very, very bumpy circuit, very, very narrow circuit, and a lot of room for errors. Now, let's just quickly have a look at the grid before we get things underway. So let's see who will be fronting in and representing the teams in this one. So, for the two Mercedes guys, we have Gorzieg and Rhapsody there. For the two Mercedes, Zamis and Stryfium, two admins of the Misfits Racing League community. They're representing the Scuderia. They're in the Scarlet Red Ferraris. Cappy and Max Sinner will be representing the Red Bulls this evening. Astrodite and Tactical Logic in those two banana cars, the two Renaults. Sejos and Maxime B will be representing McLaren, along with Angel and Simply in the two Racing Points, PTFU and S King in the Alpha Taris, Larkino and Holtzman in the Alfa Romeos, J Fasai and Axis in the Haas, and Becky B and Yamamoto in the Williams. And with that, we're just going to wait a couple more moments for the drivers to get themselves ready in the lobby, and then we will be underway. So I'm very, very excited. Unfortunately, my co-commentator Stars is unable to be here for this one. But there's no issues there. I'll just be doing this one solo for all you lovely viewers out there. So if you missed the announcement from the last stream, I'm very, very happy to say that Misfits Racing League is now in a great partnership with Next Level Racing, the lead of sim rigs and the like. So if you want to find out more, be sure to check out the link down in the bio below. And thank you for supporting us here at the Misfits Racing League. But with all that being said, it's now time for the Americas division to finally get underway, and I'm very, very excited. Tier 3, lots of action happening on the track throughout the 29 laps here in Albert Park. Lots of crashes, lots of overtakes, lots of everything, really. We had safety cars, virtual safety cars, insane overtakes, and I really, really can't wait. So just waiting for these drivers to load into the session. Shouldn't take too long. Of course, we are running dynamic weather for these races, for those of you who may be new. So there is a possibility of rain, and at least hearing from the paddock, there is a little bit of dread for that. But it looks like not quite the clearest sky is out there for the Americas division, but I don't see any drops of rain just yet. So we'll run you through once again who will be representing each of the teams. So it'll be Gorzieg and Rhapsody over there in Mercedes, Zamis and Stryfium for Ferrari, Maxina and Cappy, and there's Red Bulls. I'll be Maxime B and Sejos for the two McLaren guys, Technical Logic and Astrodite in the Renault, Simply and Chase Ace for the Racing Points. BTFU and S King in those Alpha Taris, Holtz, Larkino in the Alfa Romeos, Axis, and J Fasai in those Haas's, and Becky B alongside Yamamoto, Alex Yamamoto there, for the Williams guys. And it looks like Mr. Zamis, the founder of the Misfits Racing League community, will be the first one out on track for the Americas grid for Season 4. So very, very excited to finally get the race underway. along with Tier 3, but also here in the Americas as well. A lot of these drivers have been eagerly anticipating the start of the season. And a lot of them can't wait. A few clouds out here in Melbourne for this qualifying session, so the track temperature may be a little bit lower than some of these drivers might be used to. But nevertheless, I'm sure they will give it their all on their flying laps, because this 18-minute session will determine where they start in the race, and qualifying around this track can be very, very important because it can be quite hard to pass here. But Zamas will take you around the lap of the Albert Park circuit down the walk straight just before the 50 for turn 1. Fourth gear there, trying to use all of the curves that you can. And then down the second DRS zone, heading into turn 3. Braking around where the black box is on the left hand side. He also going down to the second gear, short shifts up to third, and then short shifts again up to fourth gear through turn 4. Turn 5 through the flat out right hander there. And then he just looks for his braking point. Little jut on the left hand side for turn number 6, turn 7 and turn 8. Keeping it nice and flowing, being sure to scroll off as little speed as possible. Turn 9, really using all of that curbing there on the both of the apexes, and it's all just focusing on that exit as you go around the top of the lake to the 2 hardest corners on the entire track, turns 11 and 12. 7th gear, really have to nail the line through there, otherwise the cars are really going to be stepping out on you, and you'll be losing a whole heap of time there. Turn 13 now, 4th gear, trying to use a bit of the AstroTurf there on the exit, now into 14. 5th gear, just trying to get some extra rotation in that car. 15, the slow left-hander, then into 16 now. Uses some of the green AstroTurf there, and across the line he goes. And that'll be a 1 minute 20.298 to start us off here in Albert Park.
Hello, Mikcow.
Oh, I'm not alone.
You're not alone.
Welcome, Mr. Alejandro.
Yeah, I've been told by Yoda if you can lower the game volume, it would be nice. So yeah, thanks everyone watching today. As Becky crossed the line and there's a 19 point, so that's actually fast. It's actually good.
Yeah, Becky B setting the timing towers alight with a 1 minute 19.298. Great effort from him there in the Williams. Seajoss coming across the line as well to set his first lap of the session with a 1 minute 19.9, and his teammate Maxim B going even faster than him with a 1 minute 19.817 Bitto. So
yeah, SBT nice. I think is going to cross the line and place himself 9th position on the mediums. Is Shreve 8th position, 20.8. That's a good time for the Canadian. Larkin as well finishing his lap, and some Red Bull guys going to the pits.
Yeah, looks like Max Senna actually continuing out on his lap. I think that's actually Cappy who veered off into the pit lane. But Max Senna will be starting his first flying lap of the session. We'll be able to keep an eye out from him. Looks like he's actually currently the only driver on a flying lap. He makes his way into turn 3, second gear. Just trying to get as much traction as he can out of those rear tyres. He is, of course, on those yellow striped medium tyres, so not as much grip as the red striped soft tyres, but like we've seen from BTFU, still capable of doing quite a decent time, Alex.
Yeah, as there's an accident, I think was Larkino spinning or letting everyone by. There was a yellow flag. Larkino losing the rear, I think, on the turn 4 exit as he recovers the car, going to the pits, I think. But yeah, a little bit guarded there.
Alexander now making his way through the fast chicane of turns 11 and 12, 6th gear. You can see him just add a little bit of brake pressure there as well, so not willing to take any risks on this first opening run. But it is a banker, so more important just to get that time on the board, especially on these yellow striped medium compound tyres. Down into the penultimate corner now, turn 15, and then up through the gears for turn number 16. Let's see what the stopwatch says when he comes across the line. 7th gear all the way up to about 300 kilometers when he crosses the line is a 1 minute 22.133 on those mediums. So not a bad effort, but if you're going to be comparing it to the times of BTFU, there's a fair bit of time in that lap, Alex.
Yeah, tactical logic crosses the line on the Renault, but yeah, talking about Max Senna, the lap was actually clean, looked good, but I think he wasn't risking anything. You don't want to be out of quali on the first attempt, to be honest.
Now riding on board with Rhapsody, the Brazilian, actually showed a lot of pace when he did reserve last season. I believe he actually picked up the race win in Baku in Azerbaijan last season for Tier 1. So definitely a driver with a lot of pace. As he makes his way through Sector 1 to the start of Sector 2, now through turns 7 and 8. Shifts up to 8th there fairly early, bogging down the engine, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time. But aside from that, it looks like it's been quite a clean lap so far, Alex.
Yeah, I think there was a mistake. It was Aleph, not Rhapsody on Baku Tier 1. But yeah, Rhapsody showed some impressive constant speed and pace racecraft on Spa as well as a reserve for Tier 1 as he going to turn 13, if I'm not mistaken. There's the Red Bull going to the grass, and as he takes the apex swiftly. And I think that's a clean lap as Eskin crosses the line and does a 19.6 on the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, very, very solid effort there from the AlphaTauri driver, but Rhapsody can do one better. It's half a tenth above that AlphaTauri driver, 1 minute 19.589, but still no one close to this provisional pole time of a 1:19.2 by Becky B.
Yeah, to be honest, I expected more about Esking. We had some good battles on Tier 1. And he's always been there on the pace. Probably he can improve that 19.6 and having more battle with Becky and a tidy quali.
Ooh, Cappy, he was on his first run of the session and he's run wide at the exit of turn 4, Bitto, so that track map has lit up bright red, and that is going to be an invalid lap time from the Red Bull.
Yeah, 9 minutes on the clock. He still has, I think, at least 2 attempts. If he has the tires available though, but yeah, I don't think right now it's a concern, but if he can improve, it will be definitely.
It's like
I think a lot of drivers are on a lap right now, at least the top 7.
Yeah, a lot of drivers out there on the circuit for their middle run, and actually there's actually Axis has had a bit of an issue. We'll ride on board with his teammate now. And you can just see him on that right-hand side. He looks like he's completely lost it out of turn 12 and straight up into this wall.
Yeah, that's a common mistake, actually. That's a very common mistake, more on race than on quali. Or, well, probably on both, but with the race and the fuel, it's super easy to keep the car unstable there and the rears to step off and just hit the barrier on the right-hand side.
Yes, we've seen a lot of mistakes actually being made there, both in the Tier 3 race a few hours ago, as well as during the practice. But now Aphrodite, as he comes across the line, what's the time going to be? Does he improve? He does improve by 4.5 tenths, Bitto, up to a 1 minute 19.731. That's good enough for 5th place, is the Renault driver, so not too shabby.
Yeah, good effort from Aphrodite. The driver on the Season 3 was for Tier 1, as I think who has improved? Esking? Sijas? So P2. 19.4. That's a good time for the McLaren.
Yeah, Sijas
that's a very good time.
Yeah, very rapid time. Zamas as well. Yeah, Zamas.
Yeah, only for 100 before.
Yeah, that very quick time there from Zamas, 1 minute 19.498. Only 400ths off of Sijas ahead of him. So this grid, Bitto, we've seen it all throughout MRL for the past 6 months in all the other grids. We saw it in Tier 3 as well. This grid is absolutely... There's nothing in it between these guys. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, we really get used to it. And right now, his BT, 9/10 improvement, is going to the second last corner, taking it good and tidy, still going flat out to the right hand. And he opened the DRS, and let's see the improvement, because I think that's a good and clean lap. It's P5 for the AlphaTauri.
A P5 for the AlphaTauri, a 1 minute 19.630, 4 milliseconds ahead of his teammate, Alex.
This is super close.
there's absolutely nothing to separate these drivers. We also rode on board a bit with the Haas of Jay Fasai, who was able to set his first lap of the session, which is good enough for 10th place now. They 1 minute 20.369, just ahead of his teammate. And we saw this a little bit in Tier 3 as well. It looks like the teammates definitely, well, these are unrealistic, not unrealistic, Jesus Christ, on the equal car performance, so there's no advantage or disadvantage to any of the cars on this grid. But it seems that the teammates like to be lining up right next to each other, Alex.
Yeah, Stolz was finishing his lap. I think he had a lot of traffic on that sector 3. I don't know which car was who was parking on the apex and had to actually take avoiding action. The driver on P14 on the Alfa Romeo, but now it's letting, I think was Senna pass, probably. Yeah, Senna, who is on a flyer? I think so, yeah. Has improved 4/10 on his personal best, it wasn't mediums. So that's normal improvement, but I think probably he can improve 1 second still on that bunker time with the mediums.
Yeah, Max Senna now making his way through turns 9 and 10 down to the back of the lake. Just keeping it nice and smooth there. He's up 9/10, going through his sector 2 split Bitto, and he's absolutely nailed that fast chicane of 11 and 12. So this looks like it could be a very, very fast lap time if he doesn't bottle it. Turn 13 now, 4th gear, looks nice and tidy. He's carrying a lot of speed, Bitto. This is looking promising now down into the second to last corner, with Eskin coming across the line to improve to that P2 spot. I do believe that's Rapsy actually taking provisional pole by 100th, but where's this time from the Mexican? It's only good enough for 10th place, a 1 minute 20.321 Bitto. And it looked like quite a clean lap, but the stopwatch says otherwise.
Yeah, I think the other drivers are doing more cleaner laps, more faster, and Max Senna probably is not still finding that improvement. He has still 4 minutes to go, but he has time to think where he can lose the time. I think first sector on turn 3 was actually not the cleanest one, so probably he can look the sector times and compare it to the other drivers and probably improve for the last attempt.
Looks like Strifium's had a bit of an issue on his next attempt in qualifying. He's missing basically that entire left-hand side of his front wing, Bitto. So I don't know if you caught what happened there. But
no, I guess it's the normal mistake of the fast chicane, to be honest.
Yeah, well, the thing was, it was before the fast chicane. I think he had an issue out of turns 9 and 10, actually. But nevertheless, regardless of where it was, that is an aborted run for the Ferrari. Currently sitting in 14th, so not a bad effort from Strifium on his Emerald Race debut. Of course, Strifium, the main voice here in the commentary box for basically every single other race. He is the media guy. He is the one that you always hear in your ear, but I think he's going to really be put to the test in this opening round. We all know that he can commentate, but can he drive the car quickly around the track? We will find out in the next hour or so, Bitto. I'm very excited.
As Maxime is flying, I think he opens the DRS on the 3rd DRS straight, going to turn 13, attacks the apex cleanly, almost losing the rear though on the exit, goes almost flat out to the right hand side, going to second last turn. I think this is a clean lap overall for Maxime. Oh, but not, he aborted the lap. Never mind.
Maxime deciding to enter the pits there. I believe Cappy had come across the line to set his first lap time of the session with a 1 minute 21.518. And both Haas's now actually retiring from this session. So, yeah, but I'm just glad that someone was able to get close to Becky B's opening banker time. But we are back. So sorry, I don't quite know what happened there. But we are back here for some more Misfits racing action. If you're just joining us, yes, thank you. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad that everything's
thankfully. As Becky starts his final run, he will be able to improve that time. What is the chat thinking as he invalidates lap?
No, he won't. That track map has lit up red almost instantly, just taking a bit of too much apex curb at turn 2. And yeah, There it is, very, very unfortunate for the Williams driver. He, with 30 seconds left on the clock, but I don't think he's going to be able to set another lap time.
Zamos on the second last turn. He's improving 1/10, I think I saw, but he's going tidy, open the DRS. Let's see what Zamos can do, the admin of this league, the creator, and he improves. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He lost time on the sector 3.
Yeah, so he was a 10th and a half down on his previous best. So the best that he will be getting is 5th place, but the checkered flag has now dropped for these drivers. Looks like Yama coming across the line in 9th place there for his final run of the session. Will now jump on board with Simply, currently in the bottom of the timing tower in last place, but let's see what the time is that he crosses the line. He improves to 15th, so a very, very solid effort out of the Racing Point driver. 1 minute 21.3. And now we shall see.
I think it's King flying. King is validates as well. So Rhapsody has this pole, I think, as he's improving.
Well,
he leads up the map on purple, citing the fastest second to, I think, the second sector, sorry. The fastest second sector as, he loses the rear. I think he lost every time there. All the time he lost it.
BCFU was able to improve. BCFU was able to improve on his time up into 4th place, right behind his teammate. And Rhapsody's actually had a massive moment out of the penultimate corner straight into the wall. So that is his lap done and dusted. We now jump on board with Maxime B, the McLaren that we saw fly past. He improves by a 10th, and he'll put himself right behind his teammate as well, Bitto.
All the teammates.
1 minute 19.498, setting the exact same lap time as Zamos.
Yeah, it's amazing. The gaps are so close; it's impossible almost to separate the cars. We will see on the race. The pace should be almost the same. This race should be exciting, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. And just looking at this grid, look at the gap there. The top 3 all within the 10th. But it is Rhapsody, the Brazilian, in that Mercedes, picking up the first pole position for the Americas division. Becky B will be lining up alongside him just 16 milliseconds off of his time. Absolutely crazy stuff. But they can't forget about the 2 AlphaTauris looking strong in qualifying with that second row lockout. S-King ahead of BCFU and still within that 10th to Rhapsody. Then we have the 2 McLarens of Cjos and Maxime B on that 3rd row. Zamos in the 7th for the Ferrari squad. Aphrodite in 8th. And then we have Yamamoto and Max Senna rounding off the top 10. And we will, of course, go through the rest of this grid on the formation lap. Bitto, I am absolutely just full of anticipation for this race. We saw what could happen in Tier 3. We both know from experience how it could be like for these drivers. First race of the season, few of the nerves, all the preparations for not just the past week, but the entire off-season basically lead into this moment, and everyone just wants to have a good result out of the bag.
Yeah, I'm super excited, and drivers trying to have their best result on a street circuit normally doesn't go well. We saw on Tier 3 some ups and downs with some drivers who expect more, others who expect less, but this time is the time to see it through and see how these drivers can do it on a super tight track like Australia, Albert Park.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenging circuit to start the season off with the close walls. We saw a high retirement rate in the Tier 3 race earlier today, but these guys just going around on their formation lap. So we will have the top 10 with Rhapsody and Becky B on that front row, then the 2 AlphaTauris of S-King BCFU lining up 3rd and 4th, Cjos and Maxime with the 2 McLarens in 5th and 6th, Zamos in 7th, Astrite 8th, Yama in 9th, and Max Senna in 10th. Then for the back 10, we have the 2 Haas's going line astern there on that 6th row, with Jay Fasai leading ahead of Axis. Technical Logic in 13th, Striffium in 14th, Simply in 15th, Gorzieg in 16th, Holtz in 17th, Cappy in 18th, Chase Ace in 19th, and Larkino will round off the top, well, 20. He will be last on this grid. And Bitto,
back row.
Yeah, Bitto, talk us through this tyre strategy. So obviously the top 10 have to start on those softs that they qualified on, but what about this back 10, Bitto? What are you seeing?
To be honest, I don't agree on starting on the hards is the best option. I think if you start outside the top 10, doing the medium soft should be the best strategy, as the top 10 probably they will try to do the soft mediums. But these 10 last drivers should be aiming to do the medium soft, where the softs are super fast on the end of this race, but the hards on the beginning should be difficult with the high fuel and to not spin, to be honest.
I'm also seeing a lot of medium runners in that back 10 with Strifium, Gorziak, Holtz, and Larkino opting for those mediums. J for Science, Tactical Logic opting for those hards like you were saying. An interesting strategy choice to say the least. But we'll see how it pays out for them. And of course we still have access simply Cappy and Chase Ace on those soft compound tires. And as the grid starts to take their places for the opening round, I am super excited. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen, Alex.
Yeah, I actually think there will be some safety cars, probably one, at least as Larkino goes into the grid, and I think we are ready.
Yeah, leave your predictions there in the chat, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Albert Park for the start of the Americans division. It's lights out and away we go, and it looks like Becky B has gotten off to a flying start all the way, already pulling alongside the Mercedes into turn 1, and S-King as well, BTFU, all of them just keeping it nice and tight, a little bit of a glitch there on the timing tower, and there's an accident there. Oh my goodness.
Yama lost it on the exit of turn 2. I don't know if he tapped someone, but he just lost it into the wall.
Yeah, so very unfortunate.
Becky, thanks,
Williams. And Becky are getting a little bit out of shape as well through turn 5 now, making their way into the second sector on this opening lap. It will be Rhapsody leading them away, followed by S-King, then Becky B, followed by BTFU, Maxime B, Zamis, who's actually looking for a move on Maxime. No, he decides to back out of that one into turn 9, followed by Astrodite and C-Joss down in 7th and 8th, and the two Haas guys making up a couple of positions each, up into 9th and 10th. So a great stuff from those guys, but these guys in the midfield, Bitto, there's absolutely nothing in it between these guys. C-Joss now is right on the back of this Renault Wee-Wee, and there's a spin, that's a Ferrari into the wall, and that's Zamis out of turn 12. Oh my goodness, and Yamamoto also having an issue at turn 11, so the spins are already starting to happen here. And I don't know if there's a game crash there for the Williams driver. I'm not entirely sure.
I actually think that because he just rejoined the session as super unfortunate for Zam is losing. Oh, he loses the rear again.
Rhapsody leading the way on this second lap. Still a yellow flag. It looks like Zamis has actually spun again. Yeah, so those tires are very hot.
Yeah, he doesn't have damage, but I think he only tapped the wall like with the tire, unfortunately, but I think he doesn't have damage, so he can continue. But he spun again. The rears are super hot.
Yeah,
as we saw, Gorziak and Yamamoto going to the pits, changing this strategy. Only Gorziak trying to go to the end with the hard compound. Absolutely
nothing separating these drivers at the moment. All the way down this grid, you can just see on that track map on the right hand side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, there's absolutely nothing in it. Looks like BTFU seems to be the cork in the bottle for the rest of the grid. Those top three are really starting to pull a significant gap. There's another yellow flag. That's the other Ferrari of Strifium, and he is around in the runoff at turn 10. So both Ferraris getting off to a horrible start in this one. But if we jump up just a little bit, Simply now going side by side with the Alfa Romeo of Holst heading into turn 3. He did a massive lockup on that front right, but he's able to get the car stopped in time, and that is a very nice move indeed, Alex, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, he just parked the car on the apex, trying to defend the move after attacking, doing the dive, and the racing point is ahead of the Alfa Romeo.
We are now on lap 3 of 29 in this race, but you know what that means. The DRS system, the drag reduction system, is now enabled. So for any of these drivers who are within 1 second of the car ahead of them, they will get a little bit of an extra boost of top speed in those DRS zones between on the main straight between turns 2 and 3 and between turns 12 and 13 to help with their overtaking opportunities. We're now currently riding on board with the McLaren driver of a Maxime B as he's eyeing down BTFU. The current gap between those two is around 3.5 to 4 tenths. And you can see he's really starting to close up on the AlphaTauri driver is the Canadian.
Yeah, as well as the both Red Bull, the teammates on the same strategy right now are closing the gap. Max Senna is still pushing on Cappy, his teammate. 5 tenths at the moment is the gap, but yeah, I think Maxime is closer right now. He's just pushing the overtake button to stay on the slipstream of the AlphaTauri, and the Canadian is still managing the gap. We will see if he can overtake on the main straight, but I don't think so. He's still far back.
These top three now are now locked in combat. We have the Mercedes of Rhapsody, the AlphaTauri of S King, and the Williams of Becky B in this lead group. 2 seconds ahead of BTFU there in fourth. Now currently looking at S King as he's trying to make his way closer and closer to this Mercedes. I don't think he's quite close enough to make a move on this lap, but it is still very, very early in this race, but there are lots of laps to go in this one.
Yeah, I think he knows he's not close, he's not using that overtake button, at least not that much. And he's still conserving the battery, not like Rhapsody who has to defend. He's on 38, almost like half part of the battery of S King.
Jumping down a little bit further down this grid. The two hard runners actually getting off to a decent start there. Now sitting in 9th and 10th, but they do have some very, very angry Red Bulls behind them on those softs. And the softs certainly have a lot of grip compared to the hards at this stage of the race. And the gap between these guys at the moment just over half a second, but you can say that about basically this entire grid. You can see already on lap 4, the grid's sort of separating into these little groups of drivers. You have that top 3, and then you have another 5 cars battling there, and then you have this battle for 9th place, which is basically the rest of the grid, Alex. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I think the second has is with the hard compound is different strategy than his teammate, and he's doing a major favor to his teammate Axis, retaining the guys in the soft strategy back, and he's doing he's the cork of the battle right now.
Yeah, he's certainly working wonders for his teammate Axis. We now jump back to this front 3. They all just keep it sort of line of stern, just managing the tires. No one really looking to make a move just yet, unless one of them makes a mistake. But that is the nature around Albert Park. Tires are a massive, massive thing to manage through this one, as I'm sure you are well aware, Bitto.
Yeah, actually, I think these guys starting on hards, probably either they don't know or either they don't have the capacity to manage that. The degradation here on Albert Park is high degradation circuit, and they will be trying the hard to soft. They don't want to risk any puncture of any type or any slips on the worn tires.
Yeah, currently riding on board with the Red Bull of Max Senna, currently in 11th place with his teammate a second and a half behind, and he is closing up rapidly to the back of this Renault, but a little bit of a mistake there through turns 11 and 12, meaning that he will be unable to really mount an attack. And Rhapsody, actually, speaking of, at the front of this grid, has actually been able to pull out a little bit of a gap to those behind. Not quite as much as we probably would like, because S King is still well within that DRS range, but he's doing everything that he can to keep these guys behind, and you can see it clear as day in the battery levels. He's only at 15%, Bitto, where the two guys behind him are above 70.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake, and that's why Rhapsody is actually pulling off the gap. He's trying to he's not conserving the battery as his rivals does. Esking goes wide at the exit of turn 5, I think. And
Chase
right now, yeah, he should use the overtake right now. He's pulling the gap, Rhapsody. He's at 8 tenths almost.
Just saw a lovely move around the outside of Holtz by Chase Ace in the racing point. So he's now up into 14th place. A solid move there. And we have our first penalty of the race. But simply, in the other racing point, we'll pick up 3 seconds for multiple track limit warnings. We saw the racing points very, very fast in Tier 3. And simply, with that penalty, Maxim picking up 1 as well. Simply is caught right up to the back of Cappy now in the Red Bull.
Yeah, this is a easy track to
Oh,
accumulate
there's a
penalties
spin!
to
The
collect.
spin simply is around! He hit the grass at the exit of turn 12. Luckily, no damage, but that is certainly going to shake his confidence. And if it's anything like we saw with Zamus, he needs to be very, very patient and wait for those rear tires to cool down, because the spin, into the wall, and then again the other spin to get back on the circuit. And as we see, yeah, he's just drifting it through turn 13, and he is
Yeah,
really,
the
really
same
struggling.
mistakes. It's the same mistakes that Zamos did just, well, on lap 1, I think, or lap 2. And it's a common mistake, as we can see. Probably he will change tires and go hard to the end, as those softs on those those degrees doesn't work. They are not on the nice window to operate, so he should change tires as he spins again on the same spot as Zamos.
Yeah, almost doing a carbon copy of the Ferrari driver from lap 1. But we're jumping back on this board in the battle for the lead. It's still holding it nice and steady, but S-King now, he's already up to 90% battery. And Rhapsody, he has that fuel light on, and he's also below that 10%, so he's going to be a little bit down on power through the rest of this lap. Maybe S-King can use this as an opportunity, as BTFU actually going to pick up a 3-second time penalty, along with Astrolite as well. So these guys in the battle for 4th and 5th, we're actually going to jump back on board with McLaren.
It's Larkino. Larkino spun on turn 10, but he recovers. As Maxime, I was on board with Maxime and was seeing the minimap, but watching Larkino spin. But Maxime was trying the overtake after BT collected the penalty. I think BT did a mistake on the fast chicane, and Maxime was trying to put the nose after the fast chicane. As we see the first drivers pitting, as Astrolite and Sijas probably going to the hard to the end.
Yeah, so these guys are going for that undercut on his two in front of them. Maxime B now using that DRS, that slipstream. Does he go for a lunge on BTFU? No, he doesn't. He decides to stay behind. And like you were predicting, Alex, it is Astrolite and Sijos both on those fresh, hard compound tires, looking to go to the end of this race.
Yeah, and I think it's critical right now for S-King to waste the energy. He's at 93%, not like Rhapsody. He's almost below 10. And S-King should be pushing right now to be first on the pit stop or doing the undercut. This is critical stage on the race right now, Mikcow.
Yeah, it is a very, very important indeed, especially since he has this Williams of Becky B right up his gearbox, following his every move. Becky B, not as much battery as S-King, but he certainly does have a large portion of it remaining, currently around 56 to 55% as they made their way into turn 13. But these top three, I'm actually very impressed. They're all sort of still able to keep within that DRS range. Maxime and BTFU do have to worry a little bit about
S-King undercut. The undercut, I told you, it's S-King going into the pits, probably, well, of course, doing the undercut. I don't know if he will choose. Oh, there's spin.
Oh, it's a retirement. That is the
it's a racing
point of Chase Ace. We're right on board with Striving for a little bit to see if we can see the crash, but it looks like it's something similar from the last car, from the last incident. And yeah, that car is absolutely destroyed on that right hand side, and we have a full safety car on lap 9. So this is played perfectly into the hands of S-King and all those who decided to pit, but it is absolutely disastrous for both Astrolite and Sijos, as they have lost a fair bit of track position. And to nobody's surprise there, everyone probably going to be coming into the pits for a fresh set of hards. But what do you do if you started on those hards, but like Jay Fasai and Tactical Logic? Do you stay out and hope for another safety car, or do you go and pit for mediums and try and stretch them to the end?
I think the second option is the most common, because you can't sustain on a strategy which is based on an accident of other drivers. So I think the most common thing and the most clever thing probably is going from the mediums to the end.
We'll keep a close eye on them and see what they do. I actually don't know if Rhapsody and Becky B will... if Rhapsody, Becky B, and Axis, the top three at the moment, all on those older softs, will pit for hards and they'll pit for mediums.
I would pit for mediums, and I think this is bad luck for S-King, because S-King just pitted and the safety car went on the track. And I think this is super bad for S-King, because he probably is not gaining that much time as he would be, and now he's committed to the hard strategy, while these drivers can choose right now, probably with 2 laps fresher on their safety car. These mediums would last to the end.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we see Rhapsody and Becky B both going in for those medium compound tires, but Axis putting on a set of hards, and very, very late getting out of the pit box there. Jay Fasai, I think, picking up a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane, and Jay's gone on softs, Bitto.
I don't think that's the option.
I don't think that's the right call. I don't know.
He has to pit again.
He'll need to pit again. Those softs are definitely not making it to the end of this race, even with the safety car. So he's committed himself to a two-stop strategy, but Rhapsody and Becky B were able to retain their 1-2 position, and with those fresh mediums, they're going to absolutely fly away from this AlphaTauri, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I really don't understand the decision of J4, as there's an overtake. I think it's Larkino. Yeah, the guys he pitted. He's pulling the medium strategy right now. Yeah, I think that's the correct decision. So we have a mixture of tires, only J4 with these softs, and I think when you see yourself there with softs and nobody is on softs, probably you think if you did something wrong.
So if you're in Jay's situation, do you just commit to these softs now and try and make up as much time as you can and just go to maybe a soft medium or a soft for the remainder of this race? Or do you come in now, just bite the bullet and just put yourself on the right strategy and maybe lose a couple of places, maybe go down to, well, my guess would be about 15th, 16th if you were to pit now to get off those tires? What would you do if you're in this situation?
Right now, I mean, first place, I would never pit for soft right now, so I think it's a very difficult situation. Like, he probably can pit now, but it's too late. Right now, all the pack is, well, just on the back of the safety car, and he will lose a lot of places on Albert Park, which is a track which is super difficult to overtake. The thing he can do is probably manage these tires, not going to the end, but doing soft and pitting again for soft. I think it's the only option he has, unless there's a safety car which changes everything.
So now starting lap 11 of 29, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, welcome to Misfits Racing League Season 4. This is the Americas division for their first round around the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne, Australia. I hope that you're all enjoying the stream and enjoying the show. We've had some amazing battles, a very, very tight qualifying as well. So these drivers are very, very closely matched, and it's anyone's game, really. But this safety car coming out for the unfortunate retirement of Chase Ace at the exit of lap 12. And yeah, respond to that poll in the chat. Who's going to win the first America's race? I'm curious to see who your money's on. But based off the qualifying pace and just the strategy that they're on, I do have to say that my money is on between these two of Rhapsody and Becky B. They are looking like they are in a very, very strong position, Alex.
Yeah, I would say Becky, the management on the ERS, on the battery of Becky has been superior to that Rhapsody, to Rhapsody's, and I think he can manage the battery better and then use it to overtake him when he doesn't expect. And another thing is right now with the safety car coming this lap, so I will be brief. Zamus has another opportunity as well as Striff, and Ferraris are now alive again.
Yeah, thanks to the safety car, they are now able to bring themselves back to the rest of the pack. Well, that being 16th and 19th, it's still better than being 20 seconds behind the rest of the field. But yes, the safety car has been called in this lap, so it will be Rhapsody leading them away, becoming the de facto safety car. He will be setting the pace of the field, and you can just see him weaving there left and right, just trying to get as much temperature as he can into those tires for his restart, because cold tires out of this last corner can be very, very bad. There's been a little bit of contact between Gauzier and Sipley, but never mind that one. Rhapsody has put his foot to the floor, and we are racing once again here in Albert Park, Australia. Looks like a pretty decent restart for the Brazilian, but Becky B still doing well to keep within that few tenths. And then it's S King leading the way, Maxime B, BCFU, Astrodite, C Joss, Axis, Tactical Logic, and JFSI rounding off the top 10 at the moment. And not really too much going on into the first corner.
Yeah, it's Ale going around the outside of turn 2. Is Yamamoto overtaking the Alfa Romeo of Larkino. He was side by side into turn 1, and then he pulled the trigger on the exit of turn 2. Perfect move from the Mexican. He's now chasing the other Alfa Romeo. He's right now.
Larkinus had a spin. Larkinus had an issue. Alex, he just got a bit of wheel spin out of turn 4, and he's gone straight into that right-hand side wall. So very, very unfortunate there for the Alfa Romeo driver.
Yeah, that's bad luck. Probably the hearts were not on the window. Oh, he has damage. He has speed.
Yeah, he's gonna have to come in and replace that front wing. Meanwhile, jumping up
side by side, Zamos and Striff. They were side by side. I think Zamos just Striff letting Zamos by. Zamos has more pace right now. He's going faster on the straight. Striff is still defending from Gauzy and Simply, who they had a foot behind, simply trying, looking to overtake Gauzy. Gauzy closes the door, but it's the exchange between the Ferraris.
Yeah, so Striffium now releasing Zamos. I don't know if that's team orders there. Striffium getting very, very twitchy there on the rear, coming out of the penultimate corner. And he has this Mercedes of Gorzieg right behind him. These two, no love lost between them. They are good mates off the track, but let's see how they are on the track. Gorzier trying to set up the move. He forces Striff into a mistake. A lock up there for the Ferrari. Does a switchback work with the overtake? Does he use it? He's using that overtake. Is Striffium using it as well? He does, but so it's all just down to the slipstream. Striffium trying to squeeze Gorzier all the way to that outside line, and he will maintain that place for the time being. And Simply in this racing point has a beautiful view of this, Alex.
Yeah, Striff's just parking the car where he needs, and he's just defending as he can, and he is still putting Gauzy behind him and more gap ahead with his teammates. So he's doing a fantastic job for Zamos as well as for him.
We'll now jump up on board with the only soft runner on this grid, Jay Forsey, as he's looking to catch up to the Renault of Tactical Logic. The gap now currently about 3/10 between these two. So very, very tight. And actually, I think Simply getting very, very close. He looks up the inside of turn 11, Bitto. That's something you don't see every day. Fortunately backs out of that one because that could have been a very, very nasty accident if he went for that move.
Yeah, as I think the next overtake will be Yamamoto going to Alfa Romeo on the main straight, probably into turn 3 on the braking, but right now it's close. I think it's a closer gap on this grid right now. It's Ale with more pace, it seems, than the Alfa Romeo. He will back up for the move right now, but going to turn 3, I think, yeah, it's, not yet, but he has more pace, definitely.
Jay Forsey and Tactical Logic now going side by side. Jay using those softs to good effect while they last, but Tactical Logic doing a great job defending it from the Haas driver. He knows that he's on those fresh softs, so if he can just keep it behind, those softs will eventually die and he will need to stop again. He's not actually racing the Haas behind him, but it looks like Jay is still so close to the back of this Renault at the moment. Alex, there's absolutely nothing between these two drivers at the moment.
Yeah, Jay has to overtake right now because that soft are going to die if he doesn't overtake. He needs to overtake, clear the traffic, just take profit of these faster tires, and then leave the group because he will have to stop again. Tactical Logic is doing absolutely amazing job retaining this Haas behind him because every lap that passes, it's a victory for the Renault.
Yamamoto now going side by side with Holtz through turn 13. He, with that DRS assistance, has the inside for 14, and that is the Mexican in that Williams car now up into 13th place. But he is on those old hard compound tires, and we did see from the TF3 race from another Williams driver, in fact Squid, they are able to make the distance. It is possible, but they certainly won't be feeling great at the end of that one, Bitto.
Well, yeah, I actually thought he pitted on the safety car, and I actually think that was the better option because he was almost last when the safety car came in. And, there's a move, it's Jay.
Jay around the outside of turn 4 on Tactical Logic. He's gotten the move done. He's used those soft compound tires like we were saying, and he's made his way up next to, right behind his teammate. And there's another exchange actually between Striffium and Gorzieg. Striffium and Gorzieg having a little bit of a battle now as well as they make their way through Sector 1, Bitto.
Yeah, they were side by side, Gauzy putting the gauntlet, but then Striff just takes over again the position, and he's still 16, retaining the Mercedes of Gorzieg as the leaders are super close still.
Yeah, Becky B and Rapsy only just now breaking that 1 second gap to S King behind them. So I dare say that S King will now start to fall off of the front two. But Becky B, looking at the batteries better, he's got so much more in that Williams. My goodness me, he is in a great spot for this race. And there's a spin as one of the McLarens off that C-Joss at the exit of the final corner. Oh no, and that is a significant portion of damage on that McLaren. He's able to get that car out of the way, off the racing line, letting these faster drivers through. But that is absolute disaster there for the McLaren driver. Now there's
McLarens were on the points both. They were 4th and 6th, and as Gauzy is trying to overtake on turn 1, I don't know if there's contact, but Gauzy puts the gauntlet on Strive. He has DRS as well, so we're protecting that 16th place. But yeah, Caesars with the bad luck, Zamas as well doing an overtake on 12th right now. But yeah, bad luck for the American driver.
Yeah, very, very nice move there from Zamas, getting himself up into 13th. Next on his hit list will be the Red Bull of Cappy. We're right on board with the Ferrari driver. He's using that overtake, Bitto. Is he looking for a move into turn 9? No, he's just looking to get as close as he can. Focusing now on that exit through turn 10. Oh my goodness, he is so close to the back of this Red Bull. But Cappy, I think, is using a bit more battery to try and stay ahead. And that's Striffium. He's around as well. And oh my goodness, that's another spin for Striffium.
He didn't. He was trying to overtake Caesars with the damage, and Striff just went wide, locked up both tires, and he just went to the gravel as Becky sets the fastest lap, and he's super close.
Yeah, Becky B now within striking distance. He is so close to the back of this Mercedes now. Does the Williams go to the left-hand side, takes the racing line, and that is going to be a clean move heading into the break zone of turn 3. So Becky B now in the lead of this race, and if I'm Becky, I'm going to be pushing as hard as I can to try and break that 1 second gap to Rhapsody, because he knows that Rhapsody is low on battery. And Becky B, using that slipstream and DRS to full effect, has a bit more battery in the tank. About 60% does the Williams driver. So he's going to be trying to go as fast as he can to try and break that 1 second gap, Bitto.
Yes, he was setting the purple first sector on the race. He's just draining the battery, trying to get the gap behind with Rhapsody. That 1 second is critical right now. It's a perfect stage to push, and Williams know that Becky's actually doing it.
Yeah, Becky already 9.5 tenths between himself and Rhapsody. Rhapsody using that DRS between turns 12 and 13 to try and stay there, but Becky B, you can tell he is pushing. He's used 30% battery over this lap alone, but has it been enough? It's now 1 second, but the detection point was a couple of corners ago, Bitto. So Rhapsody will have that DRS. He'll have that DRS at least for these two straights. But Becky B, with the fast lap of the race so far, 1 minute 22.980, is absolutely flying.
Yeah, he's just on his pace, and he just increased the gap 1.3 right now with Rhapsody, and I think this is done for Rhapsody actually.
Yeah, Rhapsody starting to fall back a little bit, but Becky B, you know, there's still 12 laps left in this race, Bitto, so anything can happen, and if the tier 3 race is anything to go by, it normally does. Now, going back a bit further down on the grid to this battle for 5th place at the moment, currently riding on board with the Renault of Aphrodite, as he's now within half a second of BTFU in front of him. And he's going to be maybe looking for a move into 13, who knows?
I don't know. Aphrodite is a really conservative driving. Like, he doesn't like to risk. He has 8 points right now, but probably he will have a look if BT does a mistake, but I don't think he will be risking, as BT went a little bit to the grass and the fast chicanes on the exit, but nothing major. He's low on battery though.
Yeah, BTFU has that red light flashing in the back of that AlphaTauri, meaning that his battery reserve has fallen below 10%. So he will be down on power. Aphrodite has a healthy battery sitting at about 73% as they make their way through the final corner now. But a little bit tentative on the power on those hard combat tires. These drivers still starting to struggle there. And I'm sure that Jay Fasai behind them on those 9 lap old softs is probably feeling the same at this point, Bitto.
Yes, and definitely Rhapsody is struggling because 2 seconds is the gap and he has a penalty. That's critical asking with the hards. Right now I think the mediums are still faster, but probably in 4 laps those mediums are going to start to lose the pace, and the hearts will wake up, and the pace will be better for the hard compounds for the white stripe line. So I think S-King has the second place if he can keep that pace.
Yeah, S-King putting in a valiant effort so far. Now look at the middle of the grid. There's a spin. I think that might be Larkino.
Yes,
at the exit of turn 13. Yes, it is. So very, very unfortunate for him. But the gaps around this grid, especially for these top three, are now starting to spread a little bit. Becky B doing well to pull a 2-second gap back to Rhapsody, keeping him there. But S-King as well on those hard compound tires, doing all that he can to stay within that 3-second range that he needs. Another yellow flag. Looks like it's Larkino just trying to get out of the way as he's trying to make his way back into the pits. We'll come back on board with the Renault driver Aphrodite. Tier 1 last season against the BCFU, one of the other Americans in Tier 1 last season. Now making their way towards the Americas grid. And looks like Aphrodite, he's closing as much as he can on
it's Zamus off.
Oh, Zamus has had an issue. Zamus has had an issue at the penultimate corner. He has to wait for Gauzier to go by. We missed that one on the stream, Bitto, but yeah, the Ferrari's having an abysmal outing on this one.
Nah, this is awful to watch. I actually having pain right now watching Zamus spinning right now on those hards, which are difficult to drive. But Zamus, a driver with a lot of pace, which probably could be on the podium. But right now he's having a bad time as we have this stream for P5. It's super close. Still Aphrodite on the back of BTFU. More battery for the Renault driver as Astra is still approaching on the fast chicane. Probably he will use the battery now. DRS is open. BT has another penalty as he is low on battery as well.
Yeah, BT, if you're picking up another penalty, you hate to see it. These penalties, we saw it in the Tier 3 race, and we've seen it a whole lot last season as well. These penalties really come back to bite you post-race, and if there's a safety car in the next few laps, oh my goodness, it's going to be really, really tough to judge where everyone will finish in this one, Alex.
Yeah, as Astrolite was super close on the last turn, he had a tank lapper which avoided him to actually overtake BT. So that's a bad luck. And yeah, the penalties on the last stages of the race are super bad. If there's a safety car, it will kill you. It will kill you, definitely.
We're just having a quick look at the penalties on stream now. So Rhapsody has that 3 seconds, as does Maxime, but BTFU currently sitting on 9 seconds, on par with Axis in that Haas. Aphrodite only has 3, and a lot of drivers only have that 1 penalty, which is understandable around a track like Albert Park. You and I both know that keeping it within the limits can be a challenge, especially at turn 1 and turns 11 and 12.
Yeah, I think actually BT is doing great with those 9 seconds penalty. I got 15, so I will be not criticizing the driving of BT today because I did worse. As BT goes again with 2 wheels on the gravel on the exit of the fast chicane, but he doesn't lose time like that, it seems.
Yeah, Aphrodite still the closest gap on grid at the moment. However, we will be jumping back to this battle for the final points place, Bitto. It's Holtz trying to chase down the Red Bull of Cabby, but he gets a horrible run through the fast chicane. He still has that DRS, but not really able to get quite close enough to mount an attack on this occasion. We'll now jump back on board with the Renault driver. 2 tenths is the gap, 3 tenths. BTFU, he gets the run that he needs out of the final corner and out of turn 2 to keep the Renault behind him. But you can sort of tell that Aphrodite might have the pace over the Avatari at the at this stage of the race.
Yes, Larkino's trying to lap himself from Gauzy Egg, and he's just in the middle of that battle between Gauzy and Senna. Larkino's going to the dive on turn 1. I don't think, as Larkino goes to the gravel and blocks backs, I don't think that's good for a lapped car. He should be yielding right now. Yeah, yes, he does, but he caused a little bit of time to the Red Bull, and that's critical on this stage right now.
Yeah, I think the damage has been done there, but Maxana, he is on those fresh softs, so he most definitely should be able to catch up to Gauzier with relative ease. And yeah, that gap already now down into 4 tenths. We'll see if he makes a move into turn 9. He's not quite close enough on this occasion. But yeah, him and Jay Fasai fitting onto those fresh softs as they're simply down there in 18th place. But it's right on board with the Red Bull.
Zamos was just speeding, I think has new tires right now. Caesar's just overtaking him while the Ferrari was speeding. So Zamos has time to catch. He can probably do the fastest lap. I don't know where he stands.
Yeah, Zamos putting on a fresh set of a medium compound tire, so maybe all out of softs on this one. The next center, he's right on the back of this Mercedes. As this Astrodite still trying to eye up the AlphaTauri of BTFU. Goziek has a big moment out of the final corner, and up the inside goes Mech Center and Jay Fasai on those fresh softs, and Goziek has now lost 2 positions in 1 corner.
Yeah, that's bad for Mercedes, I guess. Toto Wolff will be just smashing that table right now with that mistake of Goziek.
Yeah, Toto not happy on that side of the garage, but on the other side as well, Rhapsody also having his own battle, although it is one due to that penalty. S-King doing very, very well to stay within that 3 seconds that he needs to claim that runners-up position. But Becky B, 3.2 seconds is now the gap between those guys. And,
yeah, Jay Forsyth just overtook Max Senna on the first sector after overtaking Ghazi on the last turn. Those fresh softs, well, both are fresh softs, but Jay Forsyth is doing a fantastic job trying to keep it optimal at that stage right now.
Yeah, Max Senna doing a wonderful job trying to stay with the Haas, but Jay getting past there. We will have the DRS to help him out, but he isn't going to be quite close enough on this occasion to make a move.
Yes, Astride is still pushing the battery, but he can't overtake BT. Probably BT having more best traction out of the first chicane as well as the last corner, and it's critical for him. Probably as well more straight line speed, and Astro can't catch the AlphaTauri of BT as he doesn't really need to actually, because BT has more penalties.
Yeah, but I think what is also important, especially for BT at this stage of the race, is that the two of them are still pulling away from the Haas of Axis there in 7th place. So even with those 9 seconds, BTFU should comfortably have the 6th place, at least at this stage of the race. But one driver who is starting to make a bit of inroads is the other AlphaTauri of S-King. Now currently 1.7 seconds is the gap between himself and Rhapsody, but Becky B, my goodness me, in complete control of this race with only a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, I told you the Hearts were going to wake up at the stage of the race. 4 laps to go, well, 4.5. Sorry, 5 right now. And yeah, S-King is just pushing. He doesn't need to, probably to catch Becky, but I think it's a larger gap to do that. Rhapsody with the penalty, so S-King has this comfortably, the P2. And Becky probably has the win if he doesn't do any mistake.
Well, Becky B, we've seen throughout Tier 1 last season. Certainly a driver who has a lot of pace, and he's showing it here this evening, Alex. That Williams car is definitely flying. So I don't know what the Williams guys have done there in their off-season preparations, but starting the season off with 2 wins for the Williams crew, it can't go any better for those guys.
Nah, it's actually a good job from the Williams, but we'll see if they can keep their streak on Tier 2 and Tier 1. As there's a battle for the point, is Cappy and Tolls, as well as Jai Forsyth and Maxen are still approaching this too. So it's Cappy losing the rear a lot. BT gets another penalty, it's 12 seconds of penalties.
Yeah, 12 seconds now. He should still be able to hold on to that 6th place, but he definitely needs to stop maybe extending the track there at turns 11 and 12. That seems to be quite the hot spot for the American driver.
As S-King has the DRS on the Rhapsody.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. You're right. S-King has clawed back that gap to Rhapsody, so forget the penalty. S-King might be able to overtake the Mercedes on track as well, which would be a great effort.
Yeah, those mediums were super good on the first part of the stint, but then the Hearts just came alive, and now he's S-King pushing not that much the battery, probably. Well, he has less than Rhapsody for the first time ever on this race, I think. As Rhapsody, we have seen he has been like burning that battery a lot this race, but asking right now probably more impatient. Only 3 laps and a half to go, and it's asking.
Sorry to cut you off there, Bitto, but we have an intense battle for this final point of the race. We have, with only a handful of laps to go, only 4 laps to go. It is Jay Fasai looking up around the outside of Holt, heading into turn 3. He gets that move done now. Next on the hit list for that final point place is Cappy on those old hards. He's trying to find a way past these guys, all so close. These 4 drivers trying to get that final point for this opening round here in Australia. And Jay Fasai, he's looking really, really close to the back of this Red Bull. Does he go for a move into this chicane? No, he doesn't. But the Red Bull behind him, Max Senna, looks for a dive on Holt as well. But he gets that one all wrong there. He has to back out of that one to avoid an accident. But Jay Fasai, he is so close to this Red Bull. Bitto surely doesn't move into 13 here.
Yeah, Cappy is actually almost losing the rear on the fast chicane. Is Cappy, but he's doing a fantastic job because he needs to hold Jay Forsyth for his teammate Max Senna, who just overtakes on turn 13 as Charles goes wide to the grass. Max Senna without battery almost, but he's pushing on those new subs, and yeah, Cappy is doing a fantastic job for his teammate as Max Senna will have DRS probably of Jay Forsyth, sorry.
Well, no DRS on this occasion, but Jay Fasai now, using that overtaking DRS, is cleanly through. You can just see the amount of speed in that Haas car was just no match for what Cappy had left, and then surely, I think Max Senna will find it a lot easier to pass Cappy than Jay Fasai did.
Yes, this King is still closing the gap. Probably he doesn't want to risk. Remember, the hards are still worn as well as the mediums. So he probably doesn't want to risk it. He doesn't need to. As Astro is still close, and there's a spin. I think that's Larkino.
Yeah, I think it might just be Larkino getting out of the way for those blue flags. Not entirely sure, but it has cleared up in that first sector. We're now currently riding on board with Astrodite, who has been looking at this AlphaTauri rear wing for the best part of the past 10 laps, Bitto. But it's just isn't, yeah, or more, yeah, exactly, but just isn't quite able to find the way past. And the 2 Red Bulls actually starting to tangle over each other. I would have thought that Max Senna would have been able to pass his teammate by now, but
as Esking goes around the outside of turn 3 and he pulls the trigger, and his Rhapsody on the outside, he can't do anything. The grip on those hards are just better right now, and just Rhapsody falling off. Yeah, well, impressive move for Esking.
Yeah, very, very nicely done there. But through all this fighting back, he is now 6 seconds up the road. He is all in the same camp as Rhapsody. Those mediums have definitely seen better days, Bitto. But I don't think the gap is quite small enough for Eskin to really make a dent in that. There's only a lap and a half remaining in this race. And Becky B looks very, very composed in that Williams car right now.
Yeah, he should do a mistake if he, to lose this win. He has it easy right now as BT just collects another penalty. I think that's 15 as Astrodite still on that half a second 2 times gap. Right now probably closer than before, but I don't think he will try to move anyways.
Yeah, I think BT's saving grace on that one is that there is a large gap back to Axis, who has a significant gap himself to Technical Logic there in 8th. So he should be able to hold into that 6th place realistically, but that is a lot of penalties for the American driver, as we are now on the final lap of this race. S-King being able to pull out 1 second from Rhapsody behind him. So those mediums on that Mercedes are really, they're dead, Bitto. There's absolutely nothing left in those tires.
Yeah, I think he actually, he's low on fuel as well to add. So he will probably just be saving fuel, just praying to not have a puncture and just go to the end. Probably P3 is the best he can aim right now, of course, because Maxim is not, it's close. It's closing the gap on those hards, but I don't think it's enough for this 2 sectors left.
Yes, Stryfium now picking up a 3-second time penalty down in 17th place. It's been an abysmal race for the Scuderia. But Becky B, my goodness, what a drive we have seen out of the Williams as he's making his way through the final sector for the final time. He put it in on provisional pole originally. Rhapsody was able to get away from it, and S-King off the start. But as he makes his way through the final corner now, it was Squid in Tier 3 for the Williams guys. And Becky B will come across the line to take his first win here in Amarillo and the first win in the Americas division. Congratulations to you, sir. Well deserved there. S-King will come across the line to take that second place, and Rhapsody will round off the podium places. Maxime coming across in fourth, just half a tenth behind Rhapsody after the penalty. Aphrodite in fifth, BTFU in sixth. We're now right on board with Axis as he makes his way towards the checkered flag. He will stay in seventh place. And Technical Logic will come across in eighth, maybe depending on the penalties. Yamamoto is quite close behind him, and he will hold on to that eighth place. Yama coming across there in ninth. So a double points finish for Williams. Very, very solid job from those guys. And Jay will maybe collect this final point. I think he will. It depends on how many penalties Cappy has. And yes, I think he has done it. So Jay Fasai will collect a singular point for the Haas squad along with his teammate Axis there at 7. So well done to him after that mistake, putting on the softs at the safety car. That was quite the drive to recover at least a single point. But well done to all these drivers. Red Bull, unfortunately, both cars just missing out on the points there with 11th and 12th for Max Senna and Cappy, respectively. Holtz there in 13th for the Alfa Romeo. Sejos in 14th. Zamis in 15th. Gorziak 16th. Strifium, who will be the last car to cross the line here, in 17th, and Simply and Larkino both a lap down in this one. But what a race, Alex.
Yeah, it was tense. There was a battle with those three on the podium right now, but we didn't know who was going to take the flag first. This time was Becky with a fantastic drive, fantastic management on battery, just pulling the trigger when he had to do it, and just doing an easy overtake on Albert Park, which is not easy to do.
Becky B there taking the top step and that lovely trophy. Congratulations to you, sir. Very, very well driven from all of these podium finishes. I think if the season continues like it is, like we saw here in this race, it is going to be a titanic battle for the title between these three. And we missed Angel, I believe, this race as well. And he is another very, very quick driver capable of taking race wins. But Becky B taking the first win of the season and the fastest lap to boot. So that is 26 points for the America to start off his campaign. S-King there in second place for the AlphaTauri team. Very, very nicely done from him. And Rhapsody, rounding off the podium, is the Brazilian in that Mercedes. Maxime B in fourth there for McLaren. Aphrodite in fifth. BTFU in sixth. Axis in seventh. Technical Logic in eighth. Yama in ninth. And Jay will round off the top 10. Max Senna and Cappy, the two Red Bulls, in 11th and 12th, respectively. Hulse in 13th, Sejos in 14th, Zamis in 15th, Gorziak in 16th, Strifium in 17th, Simply 18th, Larkino in 19th, and Chase Ace, unfortunately, the only DNF in this one, Bitto.
Yep. So only one safety car, if I'm not mistaken, on this race. Was just on the window for the soft speeders and, well, the soft stoppers, or I don't know how to say it, but it was perfectly for Becky and Rhapsody. Probably Rhapsody just lacking the pace on that final little part of the stint of the mediums, as can just take profit of that, and with those hearts still having the pace at the end, it just takes second place. Maxime with super consistent speed and no mistakes takes the fourth place to McLaren, and very good job. I think we didn't talk a lot with Maxime, about Maxime, but he did a really fantastic job, to be honest.
Yeah, Maxime had a very quiet race, just sort of hanging there in the background there, but he did a great, great job. Just like you were saying, Bitto, we're just now waiting for maybe a couple of interviews to see if we can get our podium finishers to say a few words. I only currently see Becky B there in that interview waiting room. So we'll drag him up there to speak with our race winner. Becky B, mate, what a drive. Congratulations on taking the opening round and the fastest lap to boot as well, with the race win around my home track at Albert Park, Australia. How are you feeling after that performance?
Oh, I feel amazing. That was a fun one. Definitely had to work for that one. A lot more than I was, hoping for, but definitely glad with the end result there.
Yeah, you were locked in combat with S-King and Rhapsody for basically the entire race. And then after that safety car, S-King going for that undercut on the hards, just wasn't quite working out for him. And then that allowed you to put on the set of mediums along with Rhapsody, and I think you overtook him. What I think from memory about 5-6 laps to go, and you were just able to pull a gap almost instantly. So
Right.
well done on that one. How do you feel it was going into turn one? Because you were on that front row of the grid, if I'm not mistaken, and
Right.
S King, he gave you a bit of trouble there in that first stint, but all of you three just sort of holding line of stern. Was that the plan in this first stint, just to save the tires and having that race come later with the
Yeah,
medium
yeah,
stint?
for sure. When going into turn one, I knew if I was, unless I was clean by Rhapsody on the left there, I was going to back out of that. And going into, I think it was turn 5, I got pushed off the track a little bit there, but it was just a racing incident. We were battling hard. And after that, I just kind of fell in line and decided to save some ERS, and it worked out, and was able to just follow S King through, and, it worked out for me in the end.
Yeah, absolutely stellar drive here. Now that you've had this first round, do you think we'll be seeing a very, very close title fight between the top three this evening? And of course, we did miss Angel, who is also another very quick driver in this grid. So who are you looking out for? Who are your main rivals this season after that first race, Becky?
After that first race, I'm definitely looking out for Rhapsody and S King there. I battled with them in Tier 1 last season, so I know they got pace, and I know they're good drivers and like to race aggressively and close. So definitely looking forward to that. I don't think it's over after the first round, that's for sure. So I'm ready for a well hard fight.
Yes, as we hear in the commentary box, it was an absolutely amazing, amazing race to watch. So thank you for that one. I'll now hand it over to Bitto if you have any questions for our race winner this evening.
Nah, it's just asking the wear on those mediums, the end. How much
Uh,
percentage you had?
I think the worst was the front left, and I think it was only like 67, 68. It wasn't too bad. I was saving them pretty well.
Yeah, I think Rhapsody just hit the cliff at that moment, and yeah, just congratulations on that win. Just super strategic. The ERS, the tires, everything managed perfectly, and yeah, let's see you on the next round.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Becky B, and all the best in your preparations for Bahrain next week. And I believe that is the only interview that we have for this one. So, Bitto, before we close out the stream, how did you feel about that race? Any key things of note in that one? I certainly had a lot of fun watching that one.
Yeah, it was super intense, super strategic. As I was talking with Becky, it was a super clean race. Only one safety car from one spin, I think. And yeah, super close battle on the top three. A lot of battle on the midfield, different strategies, people doing two stop with those softs. And yeah, very interesting race, and super excited to watch Tier 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, Tier 2 tomorrow at 8 p.m. GMT, 9 p.m. Central European Time, and 3 p.m. for those of you on the east coast of the United States. We'll be back here, same place tomorrow for the Tier 2 action. And looking at the times from practice, Bitto, those Tier 2 guys, it might not be Tier 1, but no one there on that grid is slow. I've been seeing some very, very quick lap times throughout practice, so be sure to tune in tomorrow for that race. And I definitely know I will be, because that race is set out to be a good one, right, Bitto?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, that is all that we have for you today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race, and sorry for the slight technical difficulties during qualifying, but we got them sorted out in the end. And yeah, thank you for all the support. And once again, a big thank you to our partners at Next Level Racing for supporting the Misfits Racing League and supporting what we do here, along with you lovely viewers in the chat and in the Discord. If you want to join a lovely community of racers, be sure to have that Discord command there in the chat. And come along and say hi. We're always looking for new members in this lovely community, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of great racing, and you really don't want to miss out. well, I'll hit you now with the MRL outro, and that'll be all from us this evening. So
Yep.
thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for some tier 2 action.
See ya.